As the summer days are flying by, we're getting closer to the Farm Progress Show on this weekend's This Week in Agribusiness. Hello, everyone. We welcome you to our weekend broadcast here, along with Mr. Mike Pearson. We have with us, hey, pal, you can't move in as a show host here, Matt Jungmann from the Farm Progress Show.
Good to be with you.
Good to see you, too. We thought we'd get a little bit of a briefing from you this weekend about that show that is rapidly approaching. The calendar says just about a month away now.
That's exactly right. August 30, 31, and September 1st. It'll just be here before you know it.
You've been to that show many times through the years, haven't you, Mike? You always enjoy going?
I love going to the Farm Progress Show, especially when it's in Boone, my home state. Matt, I'm curious, getting into Farm Progress is always a bit of a thing. There's a huge crowd trying to get there. I understand we're making it better.
Yeah, we need to thank the Iowa Department of Transportation. We've been working with them for something that for the 2024 show will really be wonderful. It'll be a brand new route into the show. It's going to be an overpass over the railroad tracks. But for this year, they've kind of got about half the work done, and part of that is a third lane of traffic on the west side of the show site. So that big push of one-way traffic that we get in the mornings to feed into the parking lot, we've got more room for everybody to stretch out and it really stack up that if we need to have a backup so that we don't get out on Highway 30 with a backup, which is where it gets dangerous. So, they've done a great job. The Department of Transportation worked with us to get that done in between shows and get it cleaned up and ready to go for the show coming up.
And it's hard to believe this show is coming up. And Matt, as you think about what is developing there on the grounds, things have changed for the layout. It's going to be important for folks to get their maps, isn't it?
That's exactly right. We haven't had a live in-person show in Boone since 2018. That's 4 years ago, and there's been a lot of change in the industry. So mergers and acquisitions and a lot of change. So it's created quite a shuffle on the show site. People that you were used to seeing in a certain place may have moved somewhere else. So get your map, but they're all there, and everybody's the work has already begun. The tents are going in the air, and the action is picking up on site.
Some new exhibitors, some folks maybe haven't been there in the past, I understand.
Yeah, lots from about every category. Since 2018, a lot of autonomous things have been added to the lineup, and a lot of them will be running out there in that autonomy zone. You have new things like the Rise, which I was telling you about earlier, is kind of like it's like a Georgia Jetson type vehicle to help move you around your farm.
A person flies in it.
Yes, if you imagine like a six-rotor drone. It's a really big one of those with a cockpit in it, and you can get up and fly around. It doesn't take any additional permitting or licensing to fly it. You just climb in.
I can climb in it and fly it today.
If you have the guts to do it, yes, you can climb in it and fly at 60 miles an hour if you'd like.
We tend to focus on the equipment. Most of us are really into the iron and the tires, but in actuality, the varied industries tent is always a focus of attention for folks going to the show. Many will want to have some parts they want to acquire or make contact with someone in there. And you've really upgraded it.
We have, and the thing about the Varied Industries tent is that's kind of the entry point. All the great stories of exhibitors at the Farm Progress Show, almost all of them started with a booth, a 10 by 10 booth, and then they grew from there. So that's kind of the place you can go and see what's new and what's coming down the line or the newest entrance to the show. But the format of it, the layout has been significantly improved with the help of the Iowa Soybean Association, Iowa State University. We have put a soy-based asphalt surface in that tent, and that's going to make the experience so much better for the visitors and really for the exhibitors that have to stand in there for 3 straight days. Sometimes they would be in the mud or sometimes it would be dusty, but the environment in there with a soybean-based asphalt, it was a perfect fit. It's going to do a lot of good for that facility in the off-season when we're gone, when they use that place for other events to have that. It's just short of an acre of asphalt there on the show site.
Field demonstrations. They always draw the producers to the field, and I would imagine this year will be no exception. Weather permitting, you'll have combines running, grain carts running, tractors.
Yes, tractors, tillage, we'll have all that running. The crop is in great shape. They had a tough spring in central Iowa. Everything was ready to go. We were all ready to go in the middle of April, but Mother Nature didn't necessarily agree. So the corn went in May 12th. But fortunately, it's been a hot summer. With the exception of this last week, it's been a real hot summer, and it's going to be again, according to Greg's forecast, to help bring that corn along. It's been catching up really well. I saw some pictures of some ears, and we look like we're on pace. Might be a little wet towards the beginning of the show, but we'll be okay.
In terms of crop moisture, moisture content of the corn.
Yep.
We'll hope for dry conditions in the fields at showtime and moderate temperatures. We want to visit with Matt Jungmann a little bit more about this year's Farm Progress Show, rapidly approaching. He'll be back in a few minutes.